The introduction of this project is to understanding and capability of applying the basic principle of CADCAM and creating to the sketch 3D model, surface modeling and CAM operation. Required to perform simulation on machining operation and produce part programming to this operation with detail of cutting time and necessary detail. The product we choose is bicycle crank arm, and this is our CAD file in drafting mode.
So first thing first, we need to choose the axis that we need to draw by clicking on the sketch button and then click on the axis. So for this part, I will be setting the XY plane. Okay. So for the part, the first thing first, we need to do the circle. Clicking the circle, then create the circle, and then we constrain it. For the first circle, the diameter is 35 mm. Then at the crank, there are two circles. The next circle will be 28 diameter. Okay. So the distance between the circles will be 200 millimeter, like so. Then before that, we made one line. Oops, sorry. We made one line here until here, about 30 millimeter, and then one more line here, about 12 millimeter. Okay, done. So we make one more line from here to the circle. Let it go through the circle so that it create a tangent. You see at there's a two bar there, and then okay. Then one more line from the to another circle. Same thing. Make it tangent. Alright, good. So go to the quick trim and trim the excess part. So we can erase this line. Then next is we make a mirror. This line here. Another one is here. Okay. So we can delete the center line. Okay. So we need to trim. I can trim this one, this circle. And then go to the exit the workbench. Then we pad. So the thickness of the crank will be 20 millimeter. Alright, okay. And then we make a fillet around the edge. Okay, so the fillet here. Okay, so about 5 millimeter, and a conic parameters 0.5. Just okay. And the same thing the below the part. Okay, 5 millimeter and 0.5. Okay. So we sketch another circle at the top part. So make one circle here, which is the same circle, which is 35 millimeter. Then we exit the workbench. So we pad. So the pad we use 20 meter above, and then the below part, let's just say we use 10 millimeter. Okay. Alright. So we make a fillet also at the top of the circle, which is 5 millimeter also. Alright, we made a sketch at the top. So we make the rectangle shape. I chose the centered rectangle. So the dimension is 15 times 15. Okay. So what we do next is rotate the rectangle. So by doing that, we use the rotation. We select all the rectangle, and from the we select the center part of the rectangle and the edge. So we rotate. Okay. So we delete the rectangle before. Okay. Okay. Then after the rotation, we exit the workbench. Pocket through surface below. Okay, so we need to make the fillet inside of the rectangle. So we fillet around 5 mm. Okay. Another one. So we got the rectangle fillet. Then next we will do another circle. We sketch on the top, make one more circle. Which is diameter of 50. And the distance, which is 200. Okay. Then we need to just to make sure. Okay. Right. Then we exit the workbench and then do the pocketing. So up to surface. Okay. Right, done. So next we will do the pocketing at the center part. So first we need to sketch and select the center part. Then we need to make a line up to there, about 175 millimeter. Then we make a circle around about 6.5 times 2. Yes, okay. So next make another line which is 126 millimeter, and then we make the profile using the profile. So like so. This is around 9.5. Okay, then we mirror. Mirror. And make the fillet to 5 millimeter. Below part, which is 5 millimeter also. Then we trim the excess part. Delete the center part. And also the part, yes, the circle we need to trim also. Then we exit the workbench. Okay, then we need to do the pocketing. So change to dimension. So the depth will be about 10 millimeter. Press OK. Then we need to fillet all the edges about 1.2 millimeter, and at the top, and also the top will be 0.5 millimeter. So next, the last part is we'll do the rib. So for the rib, I will not be using the this icon rib. So instead, I will be using the stiffener. So this is how I do the rib, by sketching at the Z-axis plane, then draw a line, then constrain it to 32 millimeter, then constrain again at the point here to this line here, and then make it 0. Then another one will be the center of the circle, which will be 35 divided by 2, and then the below, okay, make it 0 also. Then exit the workbench. Then we select the stiffener icon. There it goes. So the thickness will be 5 millimeter. Let me preview first. And select OK. So that's how we design our crank. Thank you.
The simulation will start with create the stock for the product. First, we click to add the body. Then we click to the sketch. Click on the body. Or click the YZ plane. Then exit. Click sketch. Click on the plane that we want to sketch. Then we sketch a rectangle that can fill the part of the product. The rectangle have been made. After that, we exit to the workbench and we make a pad. The pad must bigger than the product that we want to do, because the stock will act as a raw material before we machine the part. We click preview, then OK. After that, we click on the pad, click on the properties, feature properties, graphic. We increase the transparency of the stock, and we can choose our favorite color. So and we click apply, so we can see the part in the stock, and here the stock produced, as you can see in the below. Let's go to click the plane. First we click the plane, click on the plane that we set, then that is the safety plane that we set to 50 mm, and then we click on the height and show the rod, then that is the safety plane for the product. Before we can proceed to machining of the part, we need to set up the part operation of the machine to the 5-axis machining CNC. First we click on the 5-axis machine, click on the mechanical and choose car demo. Then we find the hash.lib, and then we choose IMS.pp table and click choose ISO. Next we click OK. Then we need to define the axis. First we click to show the stock and define the safety plane for the raw. Then we need to define the part of the body. We click on the stock, we hide show the stock, we choose the design and define the product and define the safety plane of our product. That's it for. After the part definition is done, then we move to the manufacturing program. That is so much. First we need to go to refacing. We click on refacing and then we set up the tool. We click tool, we set it to 10 mm diameter, and then we click OK. We choose this surface that we want to make the first facing, which is on top of the stock. We define the part that we want, then we click on the part and define the part that we want to face and remove the material from the product. We show the stock, we click on the stock that we want to remove the material, so the machine know which part we need to remove. Then click back to this part, check the size of the material, and then click OK. After the tool is set up and the tool part is set, then we can preview the removing of the material. As you can see, there is the removing part tool. The material has been removed as it shown in the video. Then we click OK. After the tool is set up and the tool part is set, then we can preview the removing of the material. As you can see, there is the removing part tool. The material has been removed as it shown in the video. Then we click OK. Next we move to the next process, which is the second machining to remove the material. First we need to define the tool for the product. We use 32 end mill with the diameter of 10 mm. After the tool has been set up, then we click OK. After that, we need to click to the profile, contouring, and set the material that we want to remove. First, we click to the base to set the offset on the tool movement. Then we click to the offset on the side material, and then we can preview this after we set it. Next machining is on the removing on the second profile contouring. First, we need to set the profile contour offset on the top and the bottom of the part. We set the bottom offset on the product. We select and next select the top offset of the product. After the set have been set, we can see the preview. And as you can see, this is the material removal of the product and the finished product after the material is removed on the second contour. Then we move to the next machining. After the second contour profile is done, then we move to the pocketing process. First, we select the pocket icon and we need to define the pocket that we want to remove. We need to set the offset on the bottom of the pocket and also on the side of the pocket itself. We also need to define the area of the pocket to avoid the tool crash on the other part. After the offset and tool movement have been set, then we can preview the setup that we have been made. This is the simulation on the product removal, and as you can see, the pocket have been made on the part removal of the material. After that, we click OK. After the pocket process has been done, we want to continue the machining part on the rib. We want to remove the material and the rib on the product. First, we will click on the ISO parametric icon and then we set up the tool that we want to use. We use the end mill with the diameter of 5 mm, and then we need to define the area of the rib itself. First, we click on the top offset on part, and then we select on the offset on the bottom. After the process of the setting offset has been set, and then we can to continue to see the what happened on the machining. As you can see, the material have been removed and we can see the rib is formed. After we satisfied with the process, we click OK to continue on the next machining process. Next is we want to remove the material on the part of the arm bicycle crank. This part is a little small, so we need to use a small tool. But first, we need to set the offset on the bottom of the part and the side of the part. And then we set up the tool with the 2 mm tool end mill, because this is a small part and we can preview the part removal. As you can see, the material on the small arm is removed, and click OK to move to the next machine process. The next machining consists of the removal of the material on the side, which is we want to fillet on the part. First, we need to set the offset of the fillet. We click on the offset and we click on the part that we want to remove the material, which is all the side that we want to fillet. After that, we set the tool. We use the tool end mill with the diameter 2 mm and set the axis of the movement tool. And as you can see here, this is the movement of the tool. The machine remove the material 0.2 mm, and then this is the result of the removing the material to make the part fillet. Then click OK, move to the next machine. Next is we want to do a curve following process, which is on the fillet of the pocket. We click on the curve following icon and then we define the part that we want to remove the material. We choose the pocket area and then we set the material tooling. We use 5 mm diameter on the tool, and then after that After the define and the setup of tool is done, we can preview the process. This is the result after the curve following is done. And after the curve following is done, now we want to remove the residue material that have on the other part. We use the facing process machining. First, we need to define the part that we want to remove, and we set the tool. We use the end mill with 5mm, and then we can see the review. As you can see, the residue material is removed by using the facing machining. The next machining is we want to make a hole on this bicycle crank. We use pocketing process instead of drilling because we want to use the end mill tool. First, we want to set the tool. We use the 5mm diameter tool. We define the angle, the bottom of the product of the contour, and then we run. This is the product after the material removal. The hole is produced. The next process is we want to make a hole on the bicycle crank arm. We use the pocket process also. We define the bottom offset of the hole that we want to produce, and then after the offset is set, we change the tool by using the end mill with the diameter of 10mm, and then we preview the process. As you can see, a hole is formed on the top of the part before the angle is done. The next process is we want to make a hole on the bicycle crank arm. We use the pocket process also. We define the bottom offset of the hole that we want to produce, and then after the offset is set, we change the tool by using the end mill with the diameter of 10mm, and then we preview the process. As you can see, a hole is formed on the top of the part before the angle is done. After the roughing process of all the machining is done, now we will move to the sweeping process. We click on the sweeping icon, then we define the surface that we want to sweep. We set the tool to, we use end mill with 5mm. This process take a longer time because we want to have a good finishing on the product. Enjoy the material removing by using sweeping process. Oh, the sweeping process is finally done. As you can see, this is our final look on our part. That's all for the machining process. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum.